pride and excitement that we have gathered together here, that we are making an initiative to launch a certification course soon. So basically my idea was to give you an idea about what is ESG, but since morning through various panelists and various expertise from different industry and academia, they are guiding you on ESG. So preferably everybody is aware about what is ESG all about. So no need for me to explain in this slide that ESG is environmental social governance, which each and every individual at the individual level, at most at the individual level, what I feel should be followed and should be taken into consideration, because then only we can move forward at the higher levels. Because everybody has heard about boon karke sagar banta hai, so that boon that drops down, you need to start from your own individual level. So this is all about ESG. Basically, this environmental social governance has been mapped by the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Recently, you all must be aware there is a summit which has been held in New York that is related to this SDGs. So they are focusing morely on the social consumption goals. From SDG, they are now into the social consumption goals. So I've tried my level best to map the SDGs with the certification course. This is the course content exactly. Where is the origin? Exactly, when explaining the student or the researcher or the academia person or the industry expert, will be having the origin, the evolution of ESG, how ESG investment explorations and why ESG investing is important. Then what is the role of the board of directors in the organization in relation to the ESG, and ESG integration into business strategy. What best practices, which company can we benchmark in order to set a target that we need to achieve that particular height in the form of the reporting system, which is being launched by SEBI and mandatorily to be followed by the listed entities. Then the significance of the data quality, because as Gambhir sir was telling us about greenwashing, so we need to maintain data privacy, because this is data quality and data privacy, because on the basis of this only, this particular thing, we can move forward with the course. Then is the governance importance. Governance is one of the elements of ESG. Best ESG reporting practices by various firms, and the leading ESG transformation in the organization, which all organization, be it the national level, international level, will be looking forward that we'll take the case studies on that particular thing with the people who will be joining the course. This is what will you learn. What exactly will you learn is the origin, the landscape, and
sorry to be. This is regarding your part of.
This is regarding a certification course which we are launching in collaboration with NDIM. I'm a volunteer from DMA, sir.
Okay. And what will be the cost of the course? Enroll me at any age I can join, myself also?
Anybody can join, any person from the academy.
I'm your first candidate today.
Actually, today we are not launching it. We're just telling you the briefing that we are taking an initiative, and later on as and when
it is a very popular thing, ESG, and what is the investment like in this?
I have a slide. I'm just moving forward.
Marketing and price and that.
No problem. So these are what exactly we're going to learn from this particular slide. The list of ESG materiality factors, implementing reporting, developing robust ESG strategies. So each and everything which we'll be covering in this particular certification course is from layman to the advanced level. It will nothing be like that person is studying it from the advanced level and doesn't know even the basic meaning, because everybody correlates somewhere CSR with sustainability and so on. Then this is a quote which I have mentioned here, that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So we need to develop inculcate this feeling in ourselves at an individual level. जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला था, अगर खुद में ही feeling नहीं है, तो you cannot convince a person to follow that particular path. This is our vision, mission, and the objectives we can also discuss at the time when we'll be launching this particular course. Coming to the modules, we'll be having 10 modules in this particular course, and I have briefly described about those modules, and we'll discuss it later on as and when it is launched. Sir, coming to your question, sir, what's your good name?
I'm Professor Dr. Gambhir S. Khera, but I'm a lifelong learner.
Okay, so coming back to your question. this course format is, we'll be having it in a hybrid mode, that is online and offline. And we'll be having 4 online classes and 1 offline classes. This will be the pedagogy for the certification
And
course.
this will be recognized by SEBI also as such? Not that?
Not yet, but we are trying our level best, the maximum affiliations we get from wherever. If anybody who can volunteer enough that could help us to get that, we'll highly appreciate. And the 2 assessments we'll keep, as because I have done various courses on it from different national and international institutions. So they are offering such kind of certification courses with assessments. Assessment basically in the form of MCQs. So you need to clear that particular course. After solving those particular MCQs, then only the certificate will be awarded to you by the various organizations. Who should do this certification course? Again, one more question from your side only. That any person, be it a student or academia person, industry expertise, CA, CS, anybody who is interested in learning. Because this is a very buzzword these days, evolving concept. It's been passed, CSR tha, everything was there. But still, a new word has come into being, so we need to follow that, which is in the form of ESG. So any person, any financial professional, sustainability expert, researcher, any person could apply for this certification course as and when it is launched. This is me. I am a professor at Doon Business School, Dehradun. I am in a rush. You can see me taking the slides in a hurry because I need to catch a train. I have come from Dehradun for this conclave. So I am working as a professor. I am a researcher too. I am pursuing my PhD in ESG only, ESG investing, and I am covering 2 and 3 stakeholders in this. And the benefits of the course, this need not to be told by me because it is the panelists who joined since morning have elaborated about the advantages and disadvantages. And thank you so much for your patience listening. And I expect soon we'll be launching the course with more motivation. Thank you so much. And last but not the least, I would like to thank and show my gratitude to CS Deepak Jain sir and the team DMA who has given me this opportunity to come here and just go with the certification course outlet. Yes.
How will we come to know when you launch?
We'll do such a kind of, yes, so we'll be launching DMA along in collaboration with the permission of Bansal sir. We are doing it with NDI.
Some information must go from this.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely intimation will go from DMA. हम चाहते थे आज ही launch हो पर आज we need some more time. So बंसल साहब यहाँ पर हैं NDI से चेंजर and मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा बल्कि बंसल साहब ही नया थोड़ा सा आशीर्वाद देंगे कि she will take it ahead.
Wait, man. Come up and spoken English.
We have been able to operationalize a model of rural micro-enterprise development using clean energy, that is solar mini-grids, across 50 rural villages, 10,500 households, 1271 micro-enterprises use solar-based energy. And by doing all these economic activities, we have been able to avert emissions of CO2 equivalent to 285 kg per household per year in the command area. I'd like to highlight that the focus of Melinda is to increase rural economy's growth while reducing the greenhouse gas emission while using solar energy as the platform. We commissioned an independent third-party assessment from 60 decibels, which is a globally renowned impact measurement company, and the results are here for you. Results are encouraging. I would like to say that greenhouse gas emission in the command area have reduced by 1054 tons per year. Micro-enterprise revenues have grown by 28%. Household incomes have increased by 23%. And in terms of the social benefit, if you see like that women feel safer to move outside in the dark. And children who were, they are able to study more. I mean, like the figures say they are able to study for 3 hours instead of 2 hours in the dark, and they don't feel irritation in the eyes. So these are the social or the improvement of quality factors which we have been able to, deliver there. So next is what kind of climate challenges the organization focus on? Of course, the high emission of CO2 as well as greenhouse gas emissions, biodiversity conservation, depletion of water resources. And how do we address these problems is by like the specific problems we are trying to address here are lack of access to clean and reliable electricity in the villages through solar mini grids, lack of economic diversity in terms of primary to secondary to tertiary level of rural economies, lack of access to appropriate technology in terms of machinery and equipment required for micro enterprise development to switch from diesel to electric using solar electricity, finance access in terms of affordable credit, markets, backward and forward linkages, business skills to build up the resilience of the rural economic system. Then also we are working over inclusiveness in terms of increasing participation of women and other vulnerable groups like tribal groups to grow and evolve as micro enterprises. Then also we are working over the reduced resilience of the farming system to be able to mitigate the climate change impacts by sustainable agriculture. And of course, we are looking to build up a momentum around commercially viable micro-enterprise development using power of solar energy. Very quickly, I'll go through where we work. Gumla, as I said, it's an aspirational district in Jharkhand state. People here face numerous problems because of undulated land holdings, highly dissected land holdings. The cash income from, that's not conducive for farming, and the cash income is very less. Livestock options are very less. What you can say is all the indicators are very below the normal districts, and of course, Gumla is underserved with respect to energy. Rather, in whole of the state of Jharkhand, there is no good solution for the three-phase electricity which is required for running these machineries for the micro-enterprise development. And villagers are dependent upon kerosene. That's for the domestic lighting, and at the same time, they run their farm machinery using diesel, which is again price volatile. So that's where we've been working, and we've operationalized this model. And what we do in a brief, and then I'll run you through a lot of pictures to show what kind of interventions we have been doing. So we've installed 44 solar mini grids, decentralized village level mini grids across 50 villages in 5 blocks of Gumla. And then we do the clean energy-based value chain and micro-enterprise development through community mobilization and end-to-end business solutions. So this is one of our USP, wherein a lot of many organizations are working on one part of the value chain. However, we are providing end-to-end solution. I'll come to that later. Also, we're looking to develop networks and partnerships with the relevant partners in the ecosystem. We do evidence generation in terms of documentation and sharing of the learnings. And then, of course, we're looking to map all the potential networks and partners to be able to replicate this model and scale it across different villages and communities, rural communities across the India. So our experience, Malinda has been active in this field of renewable energy since 2013. And we have been able to develop this model over the time, building on our experience. We earlier worked in Sundarban, that's in West Bengal. So this is a typical solar mini grid which has a solar PV panel. There is a control room. Then we have a community youth operator. We have 46 community youth operators there in Gumla. So this is our approach to economic development, value chain development, micro-enterprise, and climate smart agriculture. You can see the finished product. This is mustard oil. This is turmeric. This is sal leaf. Sal is basically a non-timber forest product. So non-timber forest product, basically by adding value to such products, we add to the promotion of biodiversity conservation, which I talked in terms of one of the challenges we are trying to mitigate. Then you have pickles, you have ragi cake, and you have ragi namkeen, you have ragi biscuit and cookies. So this is secondary processing, this is primary processing. These are the community members who have the finished products. As I told you, for value chain addition, we are following end-to-end business solution. That is like right from the village level meetings to cultivation to harvesting, and then of course procurement, and then doing the kind of operator trainings, and then processing, packaging, marketing, product, and sales. This is oil extraction, or what you can call this machine is oil expeller, which is used to expel oil out of mustard oil. which is run by the community members there in Gumla. This is the finished product, and if you see, like, there is an oil cake at the end, in the second line written. This oil cake is basically a byproduct of what you can call as the value chain or the micro enterprise of mustard. This cake is basically used as an organic manure, which helps in sustainable climate smart agriculture. So that's how interrelatedly we are working. Currently, if you see again, is an NTFP product, which again promotes biodiversity in the region. Turmeric, again, similar process in terms of end-to-end processing. This is a pulverizer, which is used basically to pulverize various products. This is for haldi, turmeric. These are the final products. You can see the FSSAI licensing. You can see the packaging, different packagings, labeling across the products. And now we're looking to expand these, these to other spices like chili and jeera. Basically, because we know that we have the technology, that's the pulverizer there. We know we have the market, and we know there are good margins. Like, these are the three major things we look around to set up an enterprise in the rural setup. These are the final products of chili, jeera powder. Groundnut deshelling. Groundnut is locally grown in Gumla and sold raw. We are one of the first organizations who have been able to set up a micro enterprise for deshelling, sorting, grading, as well as packaging. This is millet value addition. Millet is your ragi. Again, millet is a climate resilient crop. It requires less water. So that's how, by working over the value addition and micro enterprise development for millet, we are contributing to depleting water resources, preventing the depletion of water resources as one of our challenges identified by the organization in terms of the climate change environment. This is tamarind. Here we have done the market understanding. Basically, we aggregated 40 metric tons of tamarind, and we could understand the demands of the market and advised to remove the shells of the tamarind to be able to gain ₹2 per kg extra from the markets. This is sal leaf, as I told you earlier. It's a micro enterprise run by a group of women there in Gumla. Again, we are looking to expand sal leaf to paper plate making, because sal leaf is, again, as I told you, it's an NTFP product, and it is a seasonal product. So to maintain the continuity of the business, we are looking to diversify the product range to the paper plate. This is cultivation of sweet corn and market linkage. This project has been supported by Mother Dairy, wherein 40 farmers played part in terms of organic cultivation of sweet corn, and expected production was around 120 metric ton, out of which 32 metric ton has been already sold to Mother Dairy at a pre-decided rate of ₹10 through an FPO, farmer producer organization. So finally, I come to Melinda. As I told you, to further the objectives of improving the lives of rural people in the country, the trustees of Melinda Charitable Trust, whom I represent, have chosen to enter into an agreement with Melinda Group, which is led by Melinda Foundation CIO, a UK-based registered charity. The other entity includes Melinda Sustainable Environment Private Limited, which installs these decentralized village-level solar mini-grids and provides 24/7 kind of commercial as well as domestic electricity. And we do the micro-enterprise development, and that's how the overall goal of sustainable economic development together is achieved by working together for the systemic change. Melinda Charitable Trust was founded on the premises that can development be environmentally sustainable, and that's how we are aligned to various sustainable development goals, including low poverty, gender equality, because we're working with a lot of women as well as tribal population in terms of micro enterprise development, clean and affordable energy, good decent work, and I mean, like, this is 12 and 13. 13 is your climate action. And the nature of our activities is basically attributed to 4 major pillars. Diversity in terms of catering to a wide range of economic activities which can complement the rural economy. Resilience by building ability to weather economic shocks by increasing the income of the villagers as well as inculcating a habit of saving. Inclusiveness by increasing the participation of women as well as tribal and indigenous people. As you know, Gumla has been, I'm almost done. So Gumla is like more than 67% of people there are indigenous. Sustainability through the clean access of energy. Strategic and funding partners, I'd just like to run it through for 50 seconds. NABARD has been long-term partner of ours in terms of livelihood and enterprise development. Oak Foundation in Godrej would have given us funding for replication of the model across different locations in the country. We also converged with NRLM, that is National Rural Livelihood Mission, by working together with GSPLS, which is the nodal agency, and of course various other partners. So that's all about what I wanted to talk, and thank you so much.
I've just got two questions, please.
Sure, sir.
Thanks for the nice presentation and your organization. I just wanted to know, I believe you have no connection with the bill and because the names are very similar. So that one I is missing there. So Melinda and so there's no connection with
No
that.
connection.
So this
But we were all thinking you had a connection with them.
Yeah,
I assumed so.
I mean, you hit the nail on the button. Whenever I introduce myself that I'm from Melinda Charitable Trust, everybody thinks that I'm from the US one. Perhaps, I mean, like, that's how we are placed.
works to your advantage.
Sorry.
Works to your advantage.
Yeah, it works to bring the ice here.
Yes. So my question is, these donors are these things. Other than that, do you have any
Other than
these people?
yeah.
Do any other organizations support?
So, Melinda Group itself, which is a registered charity in UK, we have been receiving grant from them for livelihood and enterprise development, and it's been to the tune of almost 11 and 7 CR till date since 2016 while we have been working in Gumla. As I told you, we have got a funding from Oak Foundation, which is for replication of the same model, I mean like micro enterprise development through clean energy in 1,000 villages in the country. We are trying to propose places like Odisha and Chhattisgarh because those are the adjoining states. Godrej, Good and Green, they have supported our program or the initiative to be run in Raigad. Baseline is to be started in next month, October. So these are our prominent funders, and we are in touch with not many other.
My second question is a bit silly. The question is, how do you zero in on Gumla?
Yeah, so I'd like to update you. That's a very good question, and I'd like to take a couple of minutes here because Melinda started in Sundarban. So Sundarban, if you see the biodiversity, I mean like the coexistence of nature and human because of rising sea levels, because of the change in climate temperatures, was the region we selected, right? Now how we went to Gumla, the indicators are really poor. In terms of it is an underserved respect to electricity. There is no availability of three-phase productive commercial load for running these machineries. As I told you, the land is highly dissected, so that's not conducive for farming. To earn cash income, livelihood stock options are very less. Other than that, 74% of the families there in Gumla are below poverty line. 67% is above are tribal. Other indicators include, which are very important, is that it is a rainfall dependent place wherein Kharif cultivation is good, but during the Rabi time, that's October, November, people migrate because they're not doing the farming. So farming and wage income was the major mainstay of the economy. So in terms of economic development, the factors were very poor. In terms of gender and inclusive and indigenous and tribal factors, it was very poor. Electricity, commercial availability were very poor. So that's where we thought like the real need is. And that's how we started the operations in 2006. It has been in a phased manner, wherein we installed, I think, around 8 mini grids initially, and now we've been able to scale around 5 blocks in the district, reaching out to 10,500 households and kind of numbers I showed you.
The flip side of it is, if Bumla prospers, Delhi NCR will lose 50% of the maids and nannies.
That's a nice comment. But yes, there is an energy requirement at every strata of the economy. Right? Somehow our mandate is that we want to use this renewable energy in a sustainable manner to promote economic development in rural part of the country. It's easier in a way to sell this energy in the commercial place where there is a lot of demand and you'll get a better pricing perhaps for it. But the mandate, I mean, like the founders, Richard and Hazel, they have been long-standing wildlife conservatives. While they were in Africa, they could understand, they could visit Save the Elephant. It's an NGO founded by Hamilton Douglas. And there they could understand that because of climate change, there is a scarcity of water and elephants are running out of the wildlife reserves. And that made them passionate about using specific interventions and getting to the deep root cause of the climate change. And that's how they have set up an entity which is, one is a private limited company and one is a non-profit entity, because this is a kind of balanced or a balanced financing. That's what they call it in the global world in terms of the solar energy being able to use into the enterprise level developments. So that's how they came up with this model. And yeah, I mean, like that's the vision and the passion of the founders that we are able to drive.
Thank you. So I
have one question, please. Linda products are approved by any government agency, Agmark or something?
FSSAI licensing करवाते हैं. हाँ, FSSAI मैंने आपको बताया कि लाइसेंसिंग करते हैं हम. जो NRLM है, नेशनल रूरल लाइवलीहुड मिशन, उसका जो स्टेट नोडल एजेंसी है JSPLS, झारखंड स्टेट लाइवलीहुड प्रमोशन सोसाइटी, उनके साथ मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं. तो उस केस में हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट का एक मैनेजर है, हर एक ब्लॉक का एक मैनेजर है, तो हम उनके साथ ही मिलकर काम करते हैं, जिसमें हम डिलीवर करते हैं एंड टू एंड सोल्यूशन, ताकि जो रूरल लोग हैं, इंडिविजुअल लोग हैं, एज वेल एज कम्युनिटी लेवल पे जो लोग हैं, जो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप बने हुए हैं अंडर NRLM, तो उसमें हम वैल्यू एडिशन कर पाए, उनको माइक्रो एंटरप्राइज कर पाए, ताकि उनकी इनकम बढ़े, साथ ही साथ उनकी लाइवलीहुड अपॉर्चुनिटीज डाइवर्सिफाई और जेंडर को हम इंक्लूसिव करके, ट्राइबल्स को इंक्लूसिव करके ये काम करते हैं. हाँ जी.
I just wanted to know what is the minimum load capacity of a average microgrid?
Load capacity.
It will depend from block to block. Average.
Yeah, average would be around 30 to 40. Yeah, because it depends upon how we work. Is that we do a lot of demographic profiling in terms of understanding what kind of machineries are being run in a particular village. We do the village mapping. That part is basically done by the Malika Sustainable Environment Private Limited actually. Total load, I'd like to highlight that total load for last year was 7 lakh kilowatt hour in the command.
Second question was your expertise, your experience, because India has got vast coastal states.
Yeah.
And they are rich with the coastline.
Yeah.
Over 7,000 kilometers. And
Yeah.
most of the poverty, which is economic and energy poverty, what we define in the UN concept, is along the coastline in spite of the metros being based in the coastline.
Yeah.
So can you just elaborate what were the start point of Sundarban project and what were the takeaways which can be replicated across Bihar?
So, yeah, I mean, like, it's quite an exhaustive question, and whatever I can answer, I'll try to give you the best answer as much as possible. So, if you see Sundarban, it's wetlands actually. So there, since we were also new.
Sorry, I didn't introduce. I am Commandant Pradeep, ex-Indian Coast Guard.
Oh.
So I worked around the Sundarban.
Nice to meet you.
Now I'm a sustainability expert.
Nice to meet you, and pleasure.
Please.
Yeah, so Sundarban is a wetland actually.
Yes.
And there we were also new. I mean, like Melinda was also new in terms of its operations in India. So we started with picogrids. So picogrids, and there is the houses are sparse there in Sundarbans, as you would have lived there. So picogrid से कोई 7 से 10 घर के लिए electricity मिल जाता था. So that was the model we piloted with, I like to say. So for 3-4 years, from 2012 to almost 14-15, we worked on this, and then we gave it to the community for self-sustainability. And then we identified Gumla, wherein I like to highlight that it's a remote area, जहाँ per unit, per house, per micro enterprise या machinery unit की खपत बहुत कम है, as compared to our one-day unit utilization using ACs and TVs, everything here in Delhi. So we are actually raising demand for electricity, which is clean and sustainable.
Got it. All my answers.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. May I quickly request Deepak Jain, sir, to kindly felicitate, sir, with the token of our gratitude. Without much ado, let's move to the next panel discussion for the day. Sustainable development can lead us towards our vision of a developed India in 2047. And to welcome the panelists, let me quickly invite Chavi Prabhakar ma'am to kindly felicitate our guests. To begin with, VM Bansal sir, Chairman, New Delhi Institute of Management. And also joining the panel would be our conference.
Please. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Card or archaeologist? Mr. Bansal?
Yes, sir.
I don't have a card, but I'll send you a mail.
Hello. Responsibility is to keep you wake up post lunch. So I'll try my level best to do both of them. Right. Straight away, since I've been given some 30 minutes for this session, and I'm sitting with, I'm quite anxious because, I'm sitting with a lot of my seniors, guides in this panel. I'll be introducing them, but let me introduce first of all the topic. Sustainable development, the prerequisite for Developed India 2047. Let us understand what is this 2047 Developed India. Amrit Kal. We heard this terminology from our Honorable Prime Minister. He talked about it. 35 trillion US dollar economy we are envisioning to reach when India turns 100. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And he added Sabka Vishwas or Sabka Prayas. This is how India will become Vikassheel se Vikshit. Developing to developed nation. That's a journey for 100 years for India. He also talked about the Panch Pran. The first one is Viksit Bharat, the developed India, Gulami se Mukti, which is freedom from the slavery, Apni Virasat par Garv, a pride on your legacy, Ekta, which is unity, and Nagriko ki Kartavya ka bhav, the responsibility of citizen towards citizenship in the country. A very, very important topic that we all are talking today, post this G20 summit. The roadmap on this. Macroeconomic growth with microeconomic inclusive welfare programs. Digital economy, fintech, enabled development through technology, energy transition, and climate action. We've been talking about it since today's morning, and I'm a proud member to the ESG committee of DMA. I also represent an organization called Minda Corporation Limited. Minda Corporation Limited is an automotive company. I lead the CSR and sustainability division for this. I just saw the presentation of Linda where he was talking about Gumla, a district in Jharkhand. I also belong to Jharkhand, Ranchi. मैं एक ऐसे जगह से आता हूँ जहाँ पर आज भी लोगों का स्वागत पलाश के फूलों से किया जाता है, ना कि गुलाब के फूल से. A lot of beauty is there with this state, and this is the reason we are talking here today, to take India to 2047. A place like Jharkhand will also be having inclusivity, will also be developed, will also be having access to all the services, products, which people in Delhi, NCR, Bangalore, Mumbai, urban places, they are able to enjoy. So there are steps taken by the government of India. The major steps taken under 2047 India is women development, particularly women who are belonging to lower strata, vulnerable community, healthcare, the accessibility of healthcare for all. There are programs which are being designed. Education, the access of education majorly in the rural belts, of course, by referring the national education policy which is there with us, the skill development program which is accessible and customized as per the requirement of the industry and the market today, science and technology, infrastructure development, employment for the youth. We are the youngest country in the world, and therefore we need to have employment opportunity post skill development. Agriculture development through innovations, manufacturing industry and a support to that through innovation. Well, these are all agenda which is there for reaching to 2047. There's one more important topic which is going to be related to our climate actions today, which I'll take another 30 seconds to talk about, on which there's a special focus on the green growth as per the Panchamrit policy. And these are the commitments of Government of India. And we also have to supplement those commitments of Government of India through our sustainable development prerequisite. That's the topic that we have today. The non-fossil energy, its capacity has to be taken to 500 gigawatt by 2030. Reduction of CO2 emission by 1 billion ton by 2030. Intensity of carbon emission has to be reduced to 45%, meeting energy requirement through renewable sources by 50% through renewable sources by 2030, and therefore reaching to net zero. So we have a diverse panel here. I would straight away go to V.M. Bansal sir, who is the chairman, NDIM, is also a retired IS officer. Sir, you have seen the country growing. I was so glad to see when you invited us to capacitate your faculties on sustainable development. I was so happy to see this proactive step there. Your responses towards sustainability, and you also have a program for the students on sustainability. How do you look at the role of academia, education, for reaching to 2047 goals, sir? Over to you.
How much time do I have? Because
sir, you will have some 5 minutes to respond.
That's what I'm saying, so I'll try to be within 5 minutes. No, I start with very basic things first of all, and I was thinking when I was invited for this, is do we have, I would rather say, the young students or young people who are in their teens or who are in their early 20s, do they have a sustainable mindset? No. I was just thinking that when we were growing up, a bicycle in the family used to be there with the generations. Okay, the grandfather would buy, and it was still being driven by the grandchildren. So same thing, I remember your shoes or your chappals, the cobbler sitting outside the street, it will not let you change it because he will repair it and he'll make it look like new every third day. Today, it's not only the fault of the new generation. Today you buy any product, You go to buy a refrigerator, you go to buy some beautiful light. The guy tells you, sir, it has a warranty of 6 months. Okay. So the new generation is being groomed to that feeling that there's nothing sustainable about it. So that's something really worries me, that merely teaching the things or teaching sustainability may not lead us anywhere, because sustainability totally go out of our minds. You just come to the marriages, okay? Now we are gradually going the Western way. We're just going the Western way. Okay, and yes, long time back we used to hear there was hardly any divorce in India. But yes, West was known for this. So there's no sustainability of marriages. We know it may be another 20 years from now, the child doesn't know ultimately who's going to parent me, whether any of my parents or somebody else. So we just have to, society has to, first of all, the onus comes on two people. I always say that is the family, the parents. Again, now nuclear families, the mother doesn't have time, the father doesn't have time. The child is lying in a crash somewhere. Okay, how would they have a sustainable mindset? I'm really questioning the present scenario totally. Okay, and thereafter, once we start thinking, the school has a very big responsibility to this. When you're going into kindergarten school, when you're going into primary school, we are introducing them to the ESGs. We are telling them कि light बंद कर दीजिए, पानी कम इस्तेमाल करिए. Very good. But we are not telling them that you have to have, first of all, a mindset of sustainability, a mindset of sustainable families, a mindset of sustainable society around you. Okay, I mean, we just enter any home, any place without talking, without giving a pre-call. Okay, when we came to Delhi, it was a big surprise. You know, we were living in a big offices colony, only 17 big bungalows over there. And I just told my wife, let's go and knock the doors. She said, क्या आपने फोन पे बात कर ली? मैंने कहा, no, I will not change myself. हम तो ऐसे ही जाएंगे, जो हमें को दरवाजा खोल देगा तो मिल लेंगे, नहीं खोलेगा तो नहीं मिलेंगे. So I'm first of all touching that part, and now coming to the education. Okay, now coming to the higher education. There, the role of teacher and again I would say the parent is very crucial, very, very crucial. The world is changing super fast. While we are sitting here, some new technology would be thrown on your head by the evening when you learn it. When we are learning yesterday that Elon Musk is coming out with some chips in your brain, which can possibly, it could be a big wonder that it takes care of the children who are mentally affected or handicapped. To me, it looked to be a very good thing, but there seems to be societal or social stigma around that. I mean, that's what the TV anchors, all of are questioning it. But we need to know, the student need to know what exactly I have to be prepared for after 2 years, after 4 years, after 10 years. And then when I say this, I again question my statement, because even I do not know. Student will say, okay, tell me what do you prepare after 2 years for? I do not know. The world may be entirely different. The world may be entirely different after 5 years. What do you prepare for? So the mindset has to be created very open to all the changes, all the innovations that are happening around. So once we just have that mindset that everything is subject to change, that if my bicycle or if my fridge has a warranty of 6 months, then possibly what I'm studying today may also have warranty for 6 months only. Okay, so you need to be very sure, very, very open that things will change. I have a very dynamic mindset and I'll be very open to adopt and adapt to the new things. Teacher doesn't know, obviously cannot know. He or she is like us only. They have studied yesterday's things. The new things that they are coming across today, they are coming across today at the same time when the student is coming across. So there would always be a gap and the teacher of today must accept it. That's a big difficulty which I see, they are not accepting it. And whenever we see a new thing, I tell all my people that we learn together. You do not think it's a pressure on you. We'll get a person from the industry who knows it, he'll come and teach not only the students but the faculty also. Because we need to understand where we stand today, and if I've taken 4-5 minutes, I'll pass it on.
I think that's a great response, sir. You are yet suggesting that we need to get back to that traditional way, going back to the roots that we had. And I'll probably have one quick question to you. This is one data which showcased that there was a data from LinkedIn that the green skills which is going to be needed in the upcoming time. We will have a shortage of 60% green skilled people by the year 2030.
I say you will have much bigger shortage. The reason is, I'll tell you, good you touched this point. I was just studying, fortunately, since I have an engineering background and a management background and a lot of experience with the dying organization, the government. You just talked, we have been seeing presentations around renewable energy and solar energy and all those things. Now tell me one thing, that even if you talk of renewable energy, the whole world is talking about so many gigabytes and so many things that are the target set. We may have technicians, we may have engineers, we may have scientists who are giving us all these things. Do you have management experts who understand this thing? No, you don't have. Who will manage those things? What are the management gaps into that? Who's going to manage? I have been asking that question. And if I ask a question, it is for me to find the answer also. The answer will not be, I'm telling you the answer that we have, so then you can move forward. So, we have been working at this because I found there's a lot of job market around management experts who can manage the renewable energy sector, manage job, manage the requirements. And we started a certificate program around this with a body, that's again a sister organization called REPA. It's a Renewable Energy Promotion Agency. It's there for the last 20 years. You can see its website, you can see its contribution. And REPA and NDIM, like today we decided DM and NDM. REPA and NDIM are training the students. Last year, 70 of our students showed interest and they got the certificates of managing renewable energy sector. So that is the answer.
Wonderful, sir. I think many such managers are very much required for the ecosystem to grow. With that, I move quickly to Brigadier Rajiv Williams, who is the consultant advisor for CSR, sustainability, corporations, NGO. He is also a member to Subsynctus Consulting Advisory, Australia, and many other countries. He is also the former head CSR of JSL and a guide to us in the development sector. So, the corporate social responsibility and corporations basically through their initiatives on sustainability have very important role to play towards reaching to that vision of 2047. How do you think CSR can supplement to that vision?
Thank you, Praveen. CSR is close to my heart. I've been with this for a long time. I've been speaking about it, but speaking with a little bit of a difference. One is when you communicate, you can communicate to empower people. That's the time when you are actually speaking from the language of the heart. When you mean what you are speaking, and you're understanding the needs of the community, then you are achieving the goal that you're looking at. Why 47 and 100 years? But look at it tomorrow. There's no point in waiting. There's no question of 47. I think it's important to start today. We've been speaking about CSR. I've been one of the initial guys who, were in discussion with Mr. Upadhyay, Dr. Upadhyay also, and with Bhaskar Chatterjee and others. We just got together, we started discussing. Impact kya hua? You've changed from CSR to business ethics, business responsibilities. Aaj hum national agendas pe aa gaye hain. We are talking about sustainability in a very big way. We are talking about climate resilience. We are talking about climate change. We are talking about climate financing. And today's newspaper, if you read on climate financing, very interesting pieces in the Sun Times. That we are talking of getting $100 billion, which was promised by the developed world to be given to the developing nation by 2020. And now G20 says that we will now be able to access those funds by 2023. COP27 or 27 came up with a solution that we'll be able to give by 2025. I'm just saying they're semantics. They are all semantics because when we are talking about $100 billion, it is 2% of the requirement of $5.8 trillion requirement for climate change. So ये बड़ी चीजें हैं, हम कह रहे हैं कि हम छोटी चीजें अगर बात करें CSR की. When we are talking about CSR, it is a question of how you are giving that skill for that woman to come to Delhi and NCR or Gurgaon or go to Jaipur festival or go to Mumbai festival and sell that product looking straight into your eyes, knowing nothing but Hindi, nothing but English. And I've demonstrated that. I feel very encouraged with the. When I saw that woman who's come out for the first time from a village in a remote area of Orissa and comes and sells a product, and that too a high-end product which they have done, or Ikat, what is that? And to sell that and to get orders in terms of lakhs of rupees is an exciting journey. That is where CSR counts. Not in big talk. छोटी-छोटी चीजों में जो है ना, try and spend time and energy in skilling them, giving them that opportunity. They'll surprise you with the product and the outcomes. And I spoke in the morning about this very issue of opportunities and outcomes. That is social inclusion, that is equity. When we forget about diversity, we just, in a paraphrase, we say that it's a question of 50% women, 50% men, that's diversity, excuse me. It's much beyond that. It's much beyond that. And CSR has to get involved in a way which was yesterday, which was philanthropy, which is different, but connecting with communities through social development, through work, through your responsible corporates, reaching out, not because that your bottom lines are getting affected, but remember, when you have those very people as your market, they have become part of the market, they become part of the business, and they become part of the growth. That is what I will say. That is the question of today and tomorrow. Let's not wait to 47.
Wonderful. So when India is envisioning 2047, this is called an ex-army person. He envisions it and he starts the action from today. So thank you very much for this, Brigadier Williams. I talked about the CSR and its role. Now let me come back to Dr. K.K. Upadhyay, who is the former head of CSR at FICCI, and he is presently the professor at BIMTech, and he's also the chairman of CSR and Sustainability Division of BIMTech. So when we looked at corporations and their responsibilities towards this vision, how do you look at rest of the stakeholders? What do you think? What is going to be the importance of partnerships and collaborations and many other stakeholders to come together and to work together to reach to that vision through, of course, the sustainable development and the vision 2047 thing?
प्रवीण, पहले तो आप लोगों के बाद बोलना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है, especially after Williams. Today he called me Dr. Upadhyay, generally he says Shailendra. So I first have an objection to him. That's what the partnership is all about. When you come to state, you change. That's what you should not do actually. अब बंसल साहब से तो हम लोग सीखते रहते हैं. He has been our what do you call a guide basically. See, we need a framework now. There's no framework as such. अगर आप देखें दुनिया में तो 3 things are happening very much. सबसे पहले आबादी, the population, how do you control them? Second thing is urbanization. आज आप गांव में भी जाइए, पहले हम गांव में जाते थे तो हम कहते थे विलियम साहब आई एम जस्ट कमिंग, तो कोने में जाके कहीं पे. आज आप गांव में नहीं जा सकते हैं, तो पीछे से पूरी बच्चों की फौज घूमती है. And most of the towns, they have become as big as a city. That's what feeling you get in a village. और village में जाके जब मैंने, I belong to a small town in Himachal Pradesh. जब मैं first time I stayed in village for a month, I realized कि village में stay करना बहुत मुश्किल है. जितना politics village में होता है, उतना दिल्ली में नहीं होता है. You can still survive in Delhi. And third thing is climate change. Himachal में, I belong to Mandi. मेरे शहर में एक बहुत पुराना मंदिर है, शिव मंदिर है, उसके ऊपर से पानी निकल गया। तो and all the roads practically, we have 4-lane roads now, courtesy current government, all had problem basically. In a small state which had just a population of 70 lakh, 1600 roads were damaged basically. I think in that scenario, when things are happening, जैसे आपने कहा कि you have to think about today. Tomorrow is too far. कल क्या होगा हम नहीं जानते. That's what I call an ecosystem. First thing you have to understand the whole ecosystem. Second thing is the way our whole politics and all is going on. You need leadership first. जब हमने CSR भी शुरू किया था, we never said कि CSR will solve all the problems. We said what you bring as a 1%. अब उसको charity कहिए, donation कहिए, philanthropy. You said we'll say CSR. So one with 1%, how much you will change? But what you bring is professionalism, what he was talking about, empowerment basically. You bring models, which changes the whole thing. And that's where all the stakeholders first have to understand what is our role. Second thing is, how do we implement it and then develop a ecosystem where we all can work together, including politics also. जैसे आजकल आप लोग कहते हैं अगर हम फ्री बांटते रहेंगे तो ये कब तक फ्री होगा, I don't know. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, KK sir. Well, the role of each of the stakeholders, be that the government, that's an NGO, that's a corporation, that's a media, that's individuals, youth, each one of us have the role to play, and that role has to be played in the ecosystem to reach to that vision that we are thinking of. We have some 8 minutes left for the panel, and I have now the last member in my panel, CS Deepak Jain ji, who is the conference chair, and he's also the chairman of DMA. So India is the youngest country. KK sir just talked about the ecosystem. We've been talking about climate since morning, Chitijal Pavak, Gagan Samira, the protection of all these things, how do we have to ensure it, and youth have very, very important role to play in order to sustain all this. What is going to be the role of youth to reach to that vision?
Yes, of course, youth, friends, youth, they are the future of India. And we have many young members here, participants. काफ़ी कुछ आप लोगों के ऊपर रिलाई करता है कि इसको आप कैसे आगे ले जाते हो. And it also rely on us. We are in the panelists, very senior people. India में एक mentality है इंडिया में, जो हम fathers लोग होते हैं, parents होते हैं, तो ये तो बच्चों के लिए चिंता करते रहते हैं कि बच्चा भाई तू इंजीनियरिंग कर ले, डॉक्टरी कर ले, उसके कैरियर को लेके चिंता करते हैं, फिर उसकी विजडम को लेके भी चिंता करते हैं कि शादी कर ले तो इस तरह से बिहेव कर, ऐसे बात कर, ये कर, उसके लेके चिंता करते रहेंगे. कभी ये वी आर नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट कि क्या हम उनके लिए एक अच्छा एनवायरनमेंट छोड़ के जा रहे हैं. तो मैनी टाइम्स आई एम सॉरी टू से हम कई बार ये चीज़ें भूल जाते हैं जो हम सीनियर्स लोग हैं. वी आर इंडिया में तो ये कल्चर बहुत ज़्यादा है, हम बच्चों को लेकर चिंता करते रहते हैं कि वो अच्छा कर लेगा या नहीं करेगा. हम ये नहीं सोचते कि एनवायरनमेंट को हम कितना, मतलब उनके लिए एक हम क्या अच्छा एनवायरनमेंट छोड़ के जाएंगे. सो यूथ हैज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल टू प्ले. एंड इसके साथ साथ जो एकेडमिया है, when we visited NDIM, so we were very impressed that Bansal Sahab as the chairman, he has taken it that he will let the youth learn the importance of sustainability, climate and all. We gave a presentation there. And यहाँ पे दीपा जी भी हैं, अपना GL बजाज से डीन है. We visited there also to give a presentation on climate. तो इसी तरह से अगर जो एकेडमिया में डीन, प्रिंसिपल्स, चेयरमैन सबके सब if they are creating awareness there and youth are also catching up, so ऐसा लगता है कि हम अपनी मंजिल को पा पाएंगे. एंड ये अवेयरनेस सेशन भी हम लोगों ने इसीलिए किया है कि कुछ ना कुछ whenever we discuss we spread some ripples in the universe of that topic particularly. CSR, happiness and कहीं ना कहीं सबके माइंड में कुछ आज टॉपिक अंदर गया होगा, इसको हमको स्प्रेड करना है. So definitely youth can definitely play a good role, but simultaneously जैसे अभी एक स्टूडेंट ने बताया कि we have so many problems and ऐसे क्वेश्चंस कईयों के पास होते हैं, सीनियर्स के पास भी होते हैं. Then जब ये 3-4 साल पहले we used to in the morning सोसाइटी के गार्डन में जब हम योगा या एक्सरसाइज किया करते थे, तो मोदी साहब कुछ ना कुछ इंट्रोड्यूस करते रहते थे कि वाटर के लिए, पानी के लिए ये आपको इस तरह से यूज़ करना है, ऐसे यूज़ करना है, ऐसे तो जो कुछ सीनियर्स लोग पार्ट में टहलते रहते हैं यार ये मोदी साहब कुछ भी नहीं करने देंगे, सही तरीके से रहने नहीं देंगे। नहीं यार, हम तो जैसे जैसे मैंने एक बार कहा प्रेजेंटेशन में कि आफ्टर 50 इयर्स अगर जो हम चीज़ों को स्टॉप नहीं करेंगे तो चेन्नई एंड मुंबई में गेट सबमर्ज्ड if we do not do anything after 50 years by the turn of the century the sea level can rise by 1 meter and in the coastal area and the Chennai, Mumbai like cities they can flood, they get submerged. So one of the participants asked after it will happen after 60-70 years by turn of century ना, मेरे रहते हुए तो नहीं होगा ना, बस ठीक है। तो वो एटीट्यूड नहीं रखना है हम लोगों को। We need to learn and we need to unlearn also, and we need to train our youth so that they can take the nation ahead. And youth सही आप लोग काफ़ी सारे यहाँ पर हैं, आप लोगों के ऊपर काफ़ी कुछ डिपेंड करता है। You have to take it forward. You have to learn how you can take it forward, how we can conserve our biodiversity, our forest, our oceans. Our oceans are also suffering. We all know. Oceans have they have good source of oxygen. Oceans की ना अपनी एक लिमिट होती है कि how much carbon dioxide they can absorb. So now the limit has crossed. Now the limit has crossed, and the oceans has become acidified, and this acidification is creating problem for the marine life, for fish and all the animals. And the plastic we throw, youth आप लोग कितने हैं यहाँ पे, सब ही हैं। कई बार हम प्लास्टिक की बोतल थ्रो करते हैं तो हम सोचते हैं ये चला गया यहाँ से, मेरे पास से चला गया, अब I am not bothered. But it finds its place somewhere in the landfills or the ocean. It goes to the ocean. 25% of the plastic you throw here, it will automatically find its place in the water bodies and the oceans. And 25% of the weight of the ocean at present consists of plastic. So we all need to wake up and contribute our efforts. For example, while we were painting this eye cards and all, so that gentleman vendor asked us that it needed to be covered with a good plastic and all. So our team refused that. No, it is not required. It is not required. Why should be covered with plastic? We unnecessarily create more plastic. And we have not distributed any folders. And lunch time पे आप लोगों को थोड़ी सी निराशा हुई होगी, कुछ लोगों को लंच में किसी को निराशा हुई, एक आइटम नहीं था, वाटर बॉटल्स वर नॉट देयर एंड और टिश्यू पेपर तो था, एक चीज नहीं थी आइटम खाने की, नॉन वेज नहीं था। नॉन वेज में इफ यू नो प्रवीण जी, it requires more energy to cook. It requires more energy to cook, and we have to save energy. It is not a question of vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Sorry, it is a question of now sustainability, simple living. We have to avoid materialistic living and switch over to simple living. Buddha said once 2500 years ago कि हम लोगों को luxurious life को avoid करना है, so that हर एक किसी को मिले खाने के लिए. 2500 years ago. And now it is not a question of money, it is a question of lifestyle sustainability, it is a question of survival of the humanity. So we need to take care. Sorry,
Thank you, Jain Saab. It's a question of survival and sustainability. The role of the youth, I can see the students of Enactors, which is a social wing of Delhi University, as I know, and NDIM, of course, here. And you have the onus, you have the responsibility. We all together have the responsibility. So we had a great discussion. I have 2 more minutes left. Sure.
I just want to emphasize a little more on what Mr. Bansal had said. It's very important for us to understand, especially young people. If you can carry on with your dress, carry on. Responsible sourcing is equally important for you as youngsters when you go to the markets. If you don't need a thing, don't buy it. Where do you dispose it of? Organizations like Gunj, they're a model. And they don't, when we keep having interactions, And it's very important to convey this message. Reduce your waste. We say plastic. Find options, alternatives. You will. The second thing which you mentioned, sir, was adaptation. And adaptation is something which is important for us to understand. That we can't expect what in our generation we were used to, therefore the new generation should also be used to. We have to adapt to their methodologies and understand them a little more. Like this morning, Mr. Arvind from Niti Aayog, he spoke about that little booklet which is coming out, which has got a scan. And the child can scan that from his mobile and be prepared for the class for tomorrow. And the teacher does not even know about it. So we've got to understand that this technology and technological advancement is an adaptation to the new method of learning and being more sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful messages. I guess we had a very fruitful discussion where Bansal sir talked about going back to the roots and the role of course, the youth right here. Brigadier Williams talks about the action to be started from today. KK sir, you talked about the ecosystem and the multiple stakeholders' responsibility. Deepak Jain sir, the role of course, the youth and how we have to sustain it for the future. So great discussion we had. I think I have 2 more minutes where I can take probably 2 or 3 questions. You can raise your hand and if you can pass on the mic, please, if anybody has a question. It should be a question. You can quickly introduce yourself and place the question straight. Yeah, please. Yes. We can hear you otherwise if the mic is not there. We can hear you. Okay.
Youngsters will ask questions.
Anybody has a question? Yeah. Any question? Oh, wonderful. Yeah? So this happens in 2 situations. Either you know everything or you did not get anything out of this. Yeah? No. Alright, fine. So before I conclude the session, since I have 1 more minute, 1 word or 1 sentence from my co-panelist, which is going to be the message for the youth right here to have the sustainable future. I'll start with Bansal sir, you. Maybe 1 word or 1 sentence.
Only 1 word, that we can do it. And we must decide that we have to do it.
Wonderful.
The time is now.
Link head and heart and speak the language of the heart.
Continue learning. Learning and development is the life. जिस दिन हम learning and development छोड़ देते हैं, उस दिन लाइफ धीरे धीरे deteriorate होनी शुरू हो जाती है. तो चाहे यूथ हो, कोई भी हो, हमारी एज के हो, मल्होत्रा साहब आज की एज में भी कुछ ना कुछ करते ही रहते हैं. So we have to continue this learning and development journey. Learn and unlearn also. कभी-कभी unlearning भी जरूरी होती है. Thank you.
बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया आप सभी लोगों का. मैं काफ़ी घबराहट में था कि इतने स्टीम्ड पैनल के साथ कैसे मैं मॉडरेट करूंगा. But I think we had a great views from all of them. Big round of applause for them. Thank you very much.
If I have to add a word, I would say do it. Let's do it. Thank you.
Okay. Another one.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hani sir, please.
So we हमारे ESG
Please. Hani sir, please. Okay. Thanks.
अभी यहीं पे है ग्रुप फोटो है.
Yes. Excuse me. Yeah.
तो चोर हो गया.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Basically doing. Our objective is to actually build out the personality of the children. We are working at the grassroots level, which is the urban slums. These are the children of our drivers, our maids, our helps, our gardeners, drivers, who come into our apartments and they work for us. But these children possibly are not even going to school. So what we have kind of worked around is it took us a lot of time, but to convince their parents to send them to study, to schools. We get them admissions. I'll just cover what we do basically. Our goal is to give them not only just the education part of it, but also to get them to become the shining examples of what they could do and be able to stand on their 2 little feet. And it really amazes us as to what they do, what they can do. Chaya is the main person behind Usha Kiran. She's a dear friend, she couldn't be here. Usha Kiran's journey started from one room. In her, the study room that we have usually in our apartments. We started off teaching kids. That large picture that you see in the top corner, that was the living room, where 5 kids started off in 2016. And today we are proudly teaching about 200 plus children and affecting as many families with the sustainable and their education systems that we have. We not only give them the education, but we provide them a lot of transformational life tools and techniques so that they are able to go forward in their lives. The kids so during COVID we had community kitchen, we had livelihood generation because a lot of their parents lost their livelihoods. So they were making these masks, they were making cloth bags, they were also we did have a tie-up with the India Food Network. We still have that India Food Banking Network. We also getting the children to have access to nutritious meals. So we are inculcating the habit of going in for nutritious meal because a lot of the children are malnutrition. When they come into the school, and sometimes it really pains your heart when you tell them tomorrow we're going to have a function and the kid says, I don't even have my slippers to wear, and they're standing here. We do skill development as well. What we did was we have a lot of, how we have come together is we are a huge group of volunteers. All of us have corporate jobs, but we bring in the children to the study center. They go to the schools in the morning, they come back in the afternoon, and we give them education around. There are kids who are good with studies, there are kids who are good with the extracurricular activities. We've taken them for marathons. Kids are very good at athletics. One of the children, he is actually great at singing, so we have a teacher who's giving him online classes on singing. We have children, in fact, I'm going to bring up one of our children here who's going to come up and speak. He is our byproduct from Usha Kiran. He is in 2nd year of graduation in Delhi University. He is in the College of Vocational Studies. And he wants to do computer science. He does digital designing. He has done extra courses in digital marketing. And in fact, while we were meeting and we were discussing what all he can do. He is one of our live examples here. We do a lot of counseling for the parents as well. We tell the children about cleanliness drives. Noida Authority, when they were doing the park, they called our students to paint the walls at that as well. You can get the children to school, right? But how do they go to school? Because most of their schools we could find who could give them admissions were very far off. So we started with the Project Udan, where we actually worked, all of us contributed, donated, and we got them cycles so that there was no break in their studies. So they were able to go to school, come to the study center, and manage everything from there. We have 2 girls who are doing graduation now, and side by side they're working with a property dealer as well, with a property firm, and they do the telecalling at that company. We also got a project Nutri, which is the garden. So we give them the education on all the natural organic growing of plants, and they actually are very proud to carry that food home. The vegetables that they grow, all the herbs that they grow. These are some of the just examples. We also had, last year we actually raised some funds through VDHM, which is Vedanta Half Marathon. And that fund was raised basically to set up a computer lab. Because all the children, and while the entire COVID situation was going on, we could go to study center to teach the children. And most of the children did not even have smartphones, so how would they study? So we have set up a computer lab, and now, in fact, we are doing a lot of skill development. There are children who are actually, these are some of the celebrations that we have. Let me tell you, education has not stopped because those children are far away. We have a lot of children who come in from Delhi colleges, Even we had kids from Harvard University this year who came in to do and interact with their children. The children who come in for our internship through the masters because that's one of their courses. We have Akansha from Hong Kong who is also teaching students from Hong Kong because now we have a full-fledged computer lab. We have Shri Gajanan Palaskar who is teaching from Nasik. Shersik is an amazing singer. We have students teaching from our robotics to our children, the basics of robotics through the computer lab. We also have one student taking on online classes for the AI. I'm going to hand on the mic to Sumit here to tell you about his story, not from our words, because we are doing it, but he is a live example of what a small little step can do and what change can you bring in. Because if you change his life, I think there is a huge family who gets affected by that.
Hello everyone. मेरा नाम संदीप है और मैं सिंपल फैमिली से आता हूँ और मैंने शुरू में एजुकेशन शुरू किया था, मुझे पढ़ना अच्छा लगता था तो उसका अभी तक तो मेरी फैमिली ने सपोर्ट कर दिया था और वो आगे भी सपोर्ट करना चाहती थी बट फाइनेंशियली वो सपोर्ट नहीं कर पा रही थी। तो सर्टन की वजह से मैं ऐसी फिर ग्रेजुएशन भी यूनिवर्सिटी में कर पा रहा हूँ। अभी सेकेंड ईयर चल रहा है और उन्होंने मुझे लैपटॉप भी दिया है ताकि एजुकेशन कंटिन्यू कर सकूँ। मेरी फैमिली की इनकम इतनी नहीं है कि वो मुझे ग्रेजुएशन करा पाए, तो इसके लिए भी सर ने मुझे सपोर्ट किया है फाइनेंशियली भी और पढ़ाने के लिए भी सपोर्ट किया है। बहुत सारे वॉलंटियर्स आते थे, ट्रेनिंग सेंटर पे हमें पढ़ाया तो सबकी सपोर्ट की वजह से मैं आगे कंटिन्यू कर पा रहा हूँ।
Thank you. This is just a little about us. These are the rewards and recognitions. And this is our little family. Thank you so much.